Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And good morning, everyone. One crime by one illegal alien is one too many. Last year, an illegal alien who was deported in 2021 after being convicted in Charleston County, South Carolina, of sexually abusing a 9-year-old was convicted for illegally returning after it was discovered he used our wide-open border to re-enter our country and return to Charleston, South Carolina. Last fall, in October, a young 3-year-old girl named Maddie Hines in South Carolina was tragically killed by an illegal alien in a car crash. The individual who committed the crime was deported under President Trump and his administration. The illegal was able to re-enter into the United States under Joe Biden because of his wide open and dangerous border policies that put American lives at risk. Several weeks ago, the Lowcountry was put on high alert as an illegal alien wanted by law enforcement in Dorchester County for 2 counts of unlawful possession of a firearm was on the run with this illegally possessed gun. In January, an illegal alien from Honduras murdered an American citizen in Columbia, South Carolina, our state's capital, after crossing the border illegally last year. Fentanyl trafficked across our southern border by criminal cartels has killed 1,660 South Carolinians alone. It's clear that the Biden administration's policies have turned every state in this nation into a border state, every town into a border town. We have had members of MS-13 gang arrested in Beaufort, South Carolina. We've had human trafficking busts. In fact, 3 years ago in my hometown, you've never heard of it, it's called Goose Creek, South Carolina, there was a human trafficking bust with 28 people arrested. 2 years ago in Summerville, South Carolina, there was a sex trafficking bust with over 20 people arrested. Joe Biden's open border policies have enabled an illegal alien crime wave to sweep across South Carolina and the nation. So I have a few questions for our witnesses today, and I want to thank you for being here. My first question will go to you, Mr. Cuccinelli. I found it staggering that in 2021, in a memo in 2021, Secretary Mayorkas wrote, "The fact that an individual is a removable non-citizen will not alone be the basis of an enforcement action against them." Why is Joe Biden and his administration waiting until these illegals commit serious crimes before deporting them, if they deport them at all?
I was going to say, in fact, they're not deporting them even when they do commit serious crimes, and I can only conclude that they want the border invasion that they have opened the borders for their own reasons.
Right. I've actually talked to different police and law enforcement agents across the country, most recently the NYPD and in New York, for example. They're letting illegals just completely walk out of there when they're committing heinous crimes. Can you speak to the policies put in place by Joe Biden's Department of Homeland Security that have disempowered ICE, allowing criminal aliens to roam free, victimizing American citizens?
Yeah, so early in the Biden tenure, in the early 2021, in both ICE and CBP, you cited one memo, but there were others, if you'll recall that time period, where the administration, through Secretary Mayorkas, intentionally made it difficult for both CBP and for ICE to accomplish their missions. It's part of, by the way, why the morale in those two organizations is as low as it has ever been, because you sign up to do a job and then you are actually impaired by your leadership from doing that job. And that's reflected in the number of criminals that are even coming into their custody to ICE. When CBP is catching and releasing 85% of their apprehensions, ICE doesn't even see most of these folks and doesn't get a chance to thoroughly vet them. CBP's vetting is not as thorough. They're not in detention. They're basically turned into a human processor right now under the Biden administration.
Thank you. And my next question is for Sheriff Chapman. In your testimony, you mentioned you were experiencing, quote, discouragement by this administration for local authorities to turn over illegal migrants to ICE. Can you clarify further what Mr. Cuccinelli's comments are, what the administration is doing to discourage you from turning over illegal aliens to ICE?
Well, I can certainly speak to that with regards to the police departments that surround the Washington, D.C. area. Certainly, you know, Fairfax and some of the other departments around, where they're not even allowed to notify ICE about people that are incarcerated.
Unbelievable.
For us, we do. We take that, we go that extra mile. We make sure that we notify ICE in Loudoun County. that largely has to do with the fact that I'm an elected official, not answering to boards that have their own political agendas in place. So we do make every effort to contact ICE, and we have a very good success rate. The majority of people that ICE want turned over to them, we do in timely manner, and that way they can pursue whatever other charges they want to do.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.